Hello, everyone. Brocary's theory, which insists that the humanity of the arguer is a core ingredient in evaluating an argument, provides a powerful lens for analyzing conflict. I'm going to apply his framework to a difficult real conversation I had with my husband Jorge about purchasing a gun for home defense. We eventually adopted the stance of love, and I'll explain how that stance salvaged our relationship and led to a lasting solution. First, I'll describe the situation. This conversation took place in our kitchen late one evening. Jorge had been reading about a string of local burglaries and became convinced we needed a firearm for protection. I, on the other hand, was strongly opposed, primarily due to safety concerns related to our two young children. The argument started with Jorge presenting facts about increased crime rates in our zip code. I countered with statistics on the increased risk of accidental injury and suicide in homes with guns. The interaction quickly devolved with Jorge when when Jorge felt I wasn't taking his fear seriously and I felt he was minimizing my safety concerns. For a moment, we were both trapped in a unproductive defensive stances. Next, I'll explain the ethical stance we eventually took. Initially, we were arguing like adversaries, but we pulled back and consciously adopted the stance of argumentative love. The key shift occurred when Jorge stopped trying to force me to accept his view, rape, or trick me by minimizing the risk, seduction. Instead, we began to see the relationship as bilateral and each other as a person whose concerns were valid. We were arguing with each other, not against an opponent. Some specific behaviors connecting to love. I acknowledge his fears by saying, I hear you. The crime statistics you brought up are scary, and your desire to protect us is valid. This language shifted the focus from win lose to shared concern. Jorge sought power parity and risked his position by offering compromise. He stopped using a defensive tone, leaned forward, and said, I want to feel safe, but I care more about our children's safety and your peace of mind. Let's find a solution we both fully agree on. We focus on finding a common solution for optimum family security rather than simply arguing over the object, the gun. We committed to engaging ourselves fully in the process. In this situation, we were both lover arguers, willing to risk our initial position for a genuine accord. Finally, I'll detail how the ethical stance affected the outcome. The use of arguments of love made the interaction overwhelmingly for the better. The outcome, we didn't buy a gun, but the decision didn't end there. Because we valued each other's full assent, we thoroughly researched alternatives. We invested the money Jorge planned to spend on a gun into a commercial grade security alarm system and motion sensor external lighting. This solution addressed Jorge's need for deterrence and my need for safety, as it introduced no internal risk to the children. We achieved a genuine accord that resolved the underlying tension. What if we had used a different stance? If rape had been used, Jorge simply bought the gun and put it in the house, asserting his authority, I would have felt violated and disrespected. The argument would have ended, but the relationship would have been severely damaged, and the underlying problem of family safety would remain unresolved because I would always harbor resentment and anxiety. If seduction had been used, Jorge minimizing the statistics using flattery like you worry too much, honey. I'll be responsible. Don't you trust me? I may have reluctantly agreed due to emotional pressure. However, the decision would not have been knowingly and freely given. and the anxiety over the internal risk would have persisted, leading to long-term trust issues and potential regret. By adopting love, we prioritize each other's humanity over winning the argument, which is why the final solution was robust and the relationship was strengthened. Conclusion: the experience confirms Brocary's philosophy. Only when arguers view each other as peers willing to risk and grow can they move beyond manipulation and achieve a truly human, mutually beneficial outcome. Thank you.